Hey, it's that time again. It's RAGBRAI time, and you're trying to figure out just how much money do I need for RAGBRAI on a daily basis. Should I bring credit cards? Should I bring small bills, big bills? Doesn't matter. I got a few thoughts. We're going to share them next. Okay, my friends, it's that time of year again, and you're trying to figure out your logistics for RAGBRAI. And one of those questions we got to answer is just how much money do you need to bring on a daily basis for RAGBRAI? How are you going to bring it? How are you going to store it? Is it going to be plastic? Is it going to be actual greenbacks? I got a few thoughts I'd love to share with you. Here we go. Okay, so there's that age-old question. How much money do I need to bring every day for RAGBRAI? And a lot of that depends on you and your habits. What do you like to eat? How much do you like to drink during the day? You can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning. So these are a few tips that I've picked up over the years about how to budget your actual money for RAGBRAI. And one of the biggest things, no matter what the amount is how do you bring that money? I mean, is it actual money? Is it actual greenbacks? These things here, do you want to take a big bill? Benjamin? Probably not. Because, quite frankly, big bills are harder for vendors to break. And the big thing about most of these vendors that you're probably going to see, they're not big corporation type things. There's mom and pop places that are selling pie. There's Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, fire departments, all that sort of thing, breakfast, etc., etc. Biggest bill you should probably bring with you is a 20. Ideally, I've always thought fives and ones. Fives and ones are your friend. And the reason is, there's a lot of things that are around a $5 to $8 purchase. $8 will get you a craft beer most places. $5 probably will get you, Bush Latte. But if you're looking for cold snacks, they love cash. And it's easy for them to do cash. Them meaning the vendors. Vendors are out there from all sorts of disciplines, if you will. There's the local church. There's the local fire department, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, civic organizations, high school band, all that sort of thing. Pork producers, beef producers of the county/Iowa. And quite frankly, they're not set up for credit card volume. They're not set up to process a lot of cards. And, with processing of cards, you need internet or some sort of a cell connectivity. And quite frankly, if they do have it in the bigger overnight towns, the chances of them maxing out their systems is pretty good when you have 10,000 people roll into town and everybody wants to buy stuff for credit cards or on credit cards. And there you go. Their little systems just can't keep up with it. If it's a grocery store, convenience store, let's use Casey's for instance. Casey's is set up to, have you come in, buy stuff all day. They've got hardline connections for credit cards. Yes, you can definitely easily purchase things with a credit card inside the Casey's store. But a lot of times they'll shut down a couple lines of their gas pumps and they'll just set up like grab and go vendor things there. So you can grab a soda for a few bucks, sandwich, whatever the case is. And, that's great because you just give them your $5, $10, whatever it is. You get some change back and you go on down the road. Really quick, really easy. And cash is highly, highly suggested. Which brings me my next point, credit cards. Credit cards are great for the trip there and the trip back. If you stop at a big convenience store, like a Casey's, or you stop at a grocery store like Fairway, something like that, yeah, they're set up to take credit cards and debit cards all day long. Whereas, like I said before, your local Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, church organization, they're just not. They'd rather have cash. I mean, can they take Credit cards, yeah, they can take these things, but then there's a processing fee, and if you pay cash, obviously the processing fee doesn't come out of what they're trying to pay, and that goes back into where they need to use their money. They're getting new uniforms, new hymnals for the church, new roof for the civic center or whatever they're raising money for. Definitely cash is king on RAGBRAI. Credit cards, yeah, good backup, but go with cash. So now that we've covered cash is really king, the next big question is how much? How much money do you have to bring every day? And that's going to depend a lot on you and how you like to eat, how much you like to eat, how prepared you are ahead of time. Are you bringing your own snacks? Are you just relying on purchasing snacks and stuff along the road? And by snacks, I mean like power bars and electrolyte powders and things like that. I would highly suggest bringing that stuff from home. Just put it in your luggage and dole it out for each day. We're going to talk about how to manage your stuff during the trip here in a minute. But the number that I like to stick with is about $65 a day. And every time I post one of these videos, there's always people in the comments that are saying, oh no, that's way too much money, or that's not enough money. And they're both right. I mean, it depends on you, how you do you through the race. I know I said race because a lot of people think it's a race. It's not. I did finish in the top 10,000 one year, though, but it's not a race. Anyway, back to that amount, $65. So a lot of that depends on you and how you do you, etc., etc. So why is it so important for you to look in the mirror and figure out, how you do you before you get on the bus and get to RAGBRAI? And it's pretty simple. If you're in a charter and you've paid for showers already, that's something you don't really have to take into effect. If your charter package includes food, well, then, that's some other money that you don't have to figure out on having in your pocket or your bike jersey for the day. So you got to look at your overall situation. And this is basically geared towards people that are in a situation where they are actually using the baggage truck. Baggage truck, every morning you're packing your stuff up, you're standing in line, you're throwing it in the truck, you're leaving, you catch up with it later. And remember, be nice to your support people because they have all your shit. So, back to it. That $65, okay, so you're going to pay for a shower somewhere, high school, college, you're going to pay at a shower truck $5 to $8, maybe even more. And, does it include a towel? Does it not include a towel? All that sort of thing. So there you've got, let's just say, $8 to $10 on one item. You're going to eat. You're going to eat breakfast. You're going to have a coffee. You're going to stop somewhere for lunch. Now let's just talk about breakfast real quick. It's more expensive, I feel, to get food from the vendors that travel along the route with RAGBRAI. So you'll see the same vendors every morning at different places for breakfast. And that's cool. I mean, there's a couple vendors I really enjoy. And so I always try and stop for breakfast at least a couple days with them. But I also like to stop at the local firehouse or something like that where they're having a pancake breakfast. Because that money's going into them buying new equipment, or that money's going into training or whatever. And so I like to support those little towns, and that's, kind of the spirit of RAGBRAI from when it started back in the day to now is they give money back to the community, and they bring all these riders in, and, they got fat stacks of cash after everybody leaves. So it's a real, real good deal. So you're at that point where, what's breakfast? Breakfast, a free will donation? Is breakfast $15, $12? Be prepared. If it's a free will donation, I wouldn't give them any less than $10 for breakfast. I mean, think how much your breakfast costs if you go to your local diner or you go to a chain restaurant like IHOP or Perkins or something like that. You're not getting out of there for $5 for some pancakes and a coffee. No, it's much more. Keep that in mind when you're buying breakfast or any meal from a civic organization because, you know, they're working hard for that money. All those people volunteered to put up with your crap while you're standing in line and they're flipping pancakes and cooking sausage and all that sort of thing. So give them the benefit of the doubt. And if there's a tip jar, yeah, you know, a lot of times you'll get this weird amount of change and it's hard to bike with weird amount of change. So just throw it in the kitty. Well, not that kitty, but throw it in the tip jar. And then, you know, they can use that. They're not going to split that up between the servers. No, they're going to put that into the fund for whatever they're raising money for. So we've got the breakfast, we've got the lunch thing, and of course that carries on to dinner. Dinner's maybe more expensive than the others because there's more sandwiches, meats, that type of thing. And there is something for everybody on RAGBRAI. Whether you want a pulled pork sandwich, a big old steak, hamburger, grilled cheese, man, there's every type of option. And, you know, if you're looking for gluten-free, that type of thing, yes, there are those options as well. You just, maybe it's going to be a little harder to ferret those things out, but they are there on route, and they're also in the you know, town squares, but you can usually find something to fill your belly up as you're going down the road. So we've got 3 meals. Let's just say each one of those is $15. Well, now we're at $45. Now we're going to buy some snacks. Are we going to buy, or maybe they're cold snacks. If you know, you know. $20 more. Okay, so that's an $8 craft beer, a few snacks, Snickers bar, Pop-Tarts, pickle juice, aspirin. Make sure to bring your vitamin I. Yeah, that's ibuprofen. But yeah, just, you know, we're at 65, really easy. Then if you're going to go to the band that night, whoever that is in the local little overnight town, you know, they're going to be serving drinks and that sort of thing. You know, you're going to eat, drink, whatever during the concerts and so forth and so on. So it's easy to get at that $65 a day piece. It's just really easy to do that. Do you have to spend it? Can you get by with $30? Yeah. You know, you can get by with whatever you want to, you know, it depends all on you. How do you want to do this? What's your level that you need to have your caloric intake? I mean, a lot of people eat more on RAGBRAI and they think, oh my God, this is my 4th slice of pie today. I'm going to be so fat by the time I get to the end of the ride. But yet they've lost weight because you're burning all those calories on those flat Iowa hills. So I think personally 65 is a great number. So now that we've talked about the number, let's talk about how to move that money along with you into, you know, your day-to-day use. Okay, so here we are. We've got this, you know, amount of money that we're going to take every day. So, you know, you got a wallet, you got, you know, you got a little bag. This is one of those Ziploc type snack bags. I think they're great for carrying around in the back of your jersey pocket. And a lot of people will put their a credit card or debit card, and then they'll also use a this for their driver's license and for that money that this is their bike wallet basically. You know, it's not the really expensive one that you get like in an REI or something like that, but it is there and good enough. So you take your money that you've got for the day and you just fold that up, and you put it in your little bag for the day. And you'll have your credit card or debit card or something like this. Also on the debit and credit card thing, I think it's really cool if you're going to use a debit card to go to your bank and get another one that's a special account. So if it would get lost or stolen, you know, people aren't going to be able to take money out of your main account. So it's a smart idea to go and get a secondary card, if you will, that just is into one part of your account. So you've got an extra, you know, number of dollars. If you can get an ATM that isn't tapped out or whatever, or you're at that convenience store, that's good. Also, don't forget about gift cards. Gift cards are great. You know, gift cards have come a long way. And you get one of the Visa or American Express or whatever gift cards that you can use anywhere, you know, you can definitely walk in and just start mowing that down. Get a $50 one. And when you're at a convenience store or someplace that you can use that, you know, that checkout, automated checkout thing, yeah, that's great, you know. So anyway, back to this. So you got your little bag, you got your credit card, you got all that sort of thing in there, ID, insurance card, those types of things. Debit card, you're going to move that with you, just like you're going to move your license, your insurance card, things like that. I've always said one of these things is great. This is Road ID. We'll put a link in the description how to get a Road ID. It's got all your information on there. So if something happens, people know who to call. They've got your medical history. It's a great piece of insurance for a ride like this. So basically, you've got your little pouch of money, and you're packing your stuff. You're still at home. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to take out your jersey for whatever day you packed, and you pack these things in a bag. And geez, guess I can get a little farther away from the camera. Okay, so you got your jersey pocket in the back here. You're going to throw that in the back. And you've got now your jersey for day one. You've got your money for day one. And then you're going to pack this up. You're going to pack your jersey and your bibs, whatever you got. You're going to put that all this stuff is going to go in a quart size, or excuse me, in a gallon size Ziploc. So now when you get up in the morning, all your stuff for that day, your socks, headband, your kit, everything for that day one, or whatever day it is in that bag. So you don't really have to think, you know, as far as that goes. This isn't a packing video. I've got a couple packing videos that we will link to in the description. They're pretty popular. They've had thousands and thousands of hits, which I'm very, very grateful for, which is probably the time of the video that I should say, if you like this stuff, please like and subscribe. We're about 4,000 people away from the 1,000-person plaque, if there's even a thing. But, you know, one of these days, I'd like to get a plaque. So this is what you're putting into that gallon bag, okay? So socks, bibs, shorts, whatever it is, your jersey for that day, and that is all going to go into a Ziploc, usually a gallon size. You're going to put that in your bag for the day. Now, think about this. You've got 6 or 7, well, let's say 60 bucks. 65 bucks is the number we're looking at. $65 in each one of those bags for each one of those days. Now, if you didn't run through the money on day one, I just dump all that shit into day twos when I get going. So, and it all doesn't have to be in your jersey pocket. I mean, everybody's got a bike bag. You can take that little snack bag and put it in your bike bag somewhere. And, you know, could somebody steal it? Yes. Would it be somebody that's watched this video? Probably not. But here's the thing. You've now got your money in different places. So if you would have that little bag slide out of your jersey pocket, you've still got some cash somewhere else on your bike. So while I'm saying, first of all, travel with your money in your jersey pocket, in your duffel bag that you're taking for the week. Yeah, travel it with that. But then every night when you come back, you know, situate that stuff in the evening. And that way in the morning, the remaining brain cells don't have to do a lot of work. It's just the fact that they need to go, oh, it's Tuesday. I'm pulling out the Tuesday bag, and you're done. So that should work out pretty good for anybody. One of the things, though, I want to caution you against is, you know, ID. Take a picture of your ID on your phone. You know, make sure you've got, you know, like your Google or Apple wallet. Make sure you've got those things in there. In case you'd lose that, you'll probably still have. All right, I was trying to talk about the Google wallet, the Apple wallet on your phone before the card filled up. And basically, what we're dealing with is if you lose that little bag or you lose your ID, you've got a copy of it. So, that's really good. If you lose your phone, you got bigger problems, as I think I started to say. And that is, that's going to be harder to solve when you're out on the route, because you're just not going to pop into your local Verizon store and go get another one. Maybe you could pick up a burner phone from the local convenience store, but that'd be about it. So once again, keep your money in your jersey pocket while you're traveling to the event. Then as you go day to day, take your extra fundage, top that thing off, leave some in your bag, on the bike that is, and take the rest with you. You'll find out, by day 2, if you really want to get, if you really want to ramp that up. You're thinking, wow, I really don't need this extra money. I just don't want to risk losing it or whatever. So I'm going to leave it back in my bag in the baggage truck. And yeah, that's the easiest way I've learned over the years to do that. Let's go back to the credit card / gift card thing. Credit card, debit card. Let's look at getting a debit card that can be separate from your main account. A debit card that maybe you can just throw some cash into. And then when you do go to a Fairway, Casey's, something like that, and or a ATM that you could find locally, and you need to get some more cash out for whatever reason, you've got that without tapping into your main account. So if there is an issue, security issue, whatever the case is, you're not worried about your fundage being locked up on the main account. Because when they shut that down, sometimes your car payment won't go through, or your insurance payment won't go through, or something like that, because they've got this hold on your account. You don't want to have that. So highly, highly recommend getting something specific for the trip. The other thing is, you can get a prepaid Visa card or a prepaid credit card. Doesn't matter if it's a Visa. You can go load one up at a local bank, grocery store, whatever. Put X number of dollars on it. Keep it there. If you're not spending it, you're still there when you get home. So that's good. Now, let's talk about the Expo. Expo has a lot of vendors. Expo has people that are wanting to sell you stuff, and you're a person that wants to buy stuff. I can tell just by looking at you. But what we're going to do is we're going to think about this. What type of things am I going to buy? I'm going to buy maybe snacks. I'm going to buy jerseys. Of course, there's the food. The Expo is kind of not in that $65 a day for the food because, you've traveled there that day. You've probably eaten somewhere else where you put it on a credit card because they're a regular restaurant. You're not eating a sandwich out in the middle of a field, that type of thing. So let's look at it from a standpoint of what is there for Expo purchases. Clothing. There's nothing better than being able to try something on and say, oh, wow, this is going to work. There's those little things that you might have forgotten, like chamois cream or, gloves. I have one. Oh, great. Going back to gloves too, by the way, always, keep a couple pairs that you can rotate through. Bandanas, stuff like that. It's, there's going to be free tchotchkes there too that you're going to be able to get, sample sizes of stuff. One year, they were giving out Tide bags so you could do laundry, the little Tide Pods, excuse me. They're also giving out bags, come to think of it too. So I was right in both cases. But Tide Pods, and then you have the big laundry bags that you can take your stuff in if you did want to do laundry. You don't belong right. This isn't about laundry. This is about the money. So whatever you do to get the money to go on RAGBRAI, keep doing you. Feet picks, you're raking people's lawns, you're rehabbing ferrets, whatever it is, just keep doing that. Keep the money going in. Make sure before the ride starts, though, that you've stopped by your bank. You've gotten some 1s, 5s, and 10s, a couple 20s. Yeah, it's okay to have that emergency 100 stuck away somewhere. But, nobody has a pie emergency. Okay, a couple people might have a pie emergency, but it's not going to be a $100 pie emergency. So, use those smaller bills. Everybody will like it. Don't count on the ATMs working or having cash in them at small town USA Bank because they're not used to 10,000 people rolling through their town. And yeah, that's it. Be smart with your money. And to wrap this thing up, here's the points. You want to look at what you're physically going to have to pay for, preferably with cash, and the things that you can pay for with a debit card or credit card. So things like your jersey that you're going to buy from Bike Iowa at the expo, credit card. The stuff that you're going to buy alongside the road, cash. You know, couple bucks here for a Gatorade, $8 for a beer, 15 for two. Sometimes it's 10 for two, but again, Busch Latte, PBR, something like that. I did see some $3 PBRs a couple years ago, and they taste like a more expensive PBR, but they're only $3. So, but look at how you spend money. If you're in a charter where they're feeding you, that's money that you've already spent with the charter service, so you don't need any extra cash to feed yourself that night. You know, same thing with the breakfasts, and maybe they've got drinks. Maybe you're walking around with one of these big mugs, and they fill up your mug all the time with whatever you want, coffee, beer, whatever. Same mug, you do it, you know. So that little emergency thing that you're gonna, you know, is that gonna be $50? Probably not. You know, if you have a mechanical failure on RAGBRAI and you need to go to a bike vendor to have your derailleur fixed or whatever, they're more than likely going to be able to accept credit cards, but it might be a hassle because, again, they're using the same, if you will, bandwidth that everybody else is. So that's pretty much it. Look at what the average cost is of a meal in your area at a diner, something like that. Plan for that to be about the same, maybe even a little bit more expensive on RAGBRAI. How much is a beer in your area? How much is a Gatorade? That type of thing. And then use that to budget your money. If it's $65, great. If it's not $65, better, I guess. I don't know. So if you've got anything to add to this, please put it in the comments down below. The more comments these things get, the better the algorithm is, and the better things, you know, work for everybody. I mean, it's just that channel that keeps the YouTube thing moving, and it's great. It helps us out. The other thing that helps us out is having you like and subscribe to the videos. I think there's 80% of the people that watch my videos are not subscribed. If those 80 people would just have clicked the little button on the bottom there, you know, we'd have over 1,000 subscribers, I'm sure. So anyway, that just helps me out. There's another way you can do. It's the buy me a coffee deal, putting the QR code up there, so you can pause the video now, take a shot of that, and if you want to send us some love, really appreciate it. As always, I will be out on the trail, and if you see me, I usually have stickers, so it's amazing to me how many people come up and ask for a sticker, say they watch the videos. That's cool. I've always appreciated doing these things and passing on some knowledge for people that maybe are new riders or maybe not so new riders, and they just picked up a tip here or there. So that's it for me today. Until next time, get out there, take care of your dash, and we'll see you on the trail. The joys of being a YouTube guy. When the card's full, now I gotta remember, how much stuff did I actually get before the card was full? All right, doing a little test on the audio, and it seems like we're doing good. Gonna pan out just a little bit right to there, and have all the fucking background sound. That's great. Fucking perfect. Depending on where you get in that shower, that sort of thing. Maybe you can split it with a friend. You do you. Take care of your dash, and we'll see you on the trail. Bye.